Hi, my name's Tom, welcome to Quick Licks Weekly, and in this lesson we're going to be looking at a blues lick and concept that I like to call flirting with thirds. Here it is up to speed. So you've probably heard this lick played a million times over, and I have too, but one of the things I've been working on in my playing is my basic blues playing over a standard 12-bar blues and taking it from there. My idea is that if I take myself right back to the basics of sort of what I got into when I first started playing the guitar and try and work my way back to where I sort of am now, the kind of things I'm listening to, I'll hopefully pick up some things that I maybe missed out on early on. I talked about this in a few other lessons, that I went straight in at the high end super fast stuff, as in that's what my playing was concentrated on, and I sort of missed this stuff out. And as a guitar teacher, a lot of the things that I work on with students take me back to the things that I would have studied early on. And one of these is the blues, and it's something that I've neglected in my playing and I'm becoming more and more interested in. And certainly when I'm trying to get into jazz personally, and have been for the last sort of 3 years in my playing, and I certainly think that it's very difficult to get into that sort of harmonic world before you've got a good grasp on the basic 12-bar blues. So anyway, what's going on here is a really standard jazzy approach to a blues that you've probably heard a million times over, and it's that sort of chromatic passing tone sound that's basically coming about by us mixing the minor and major third, which is why I like to call this concept flirting with thirds, because you're sort of like, well, you're not strictly in well, you're not in a major or a minor setting, you're in a dominant setting, which is a mixture of the major and minor. So you can trick the ears temporarily into thinking you're in one sort of universe than another. And I'll quickly explain that by just stating that a major chord is basically, or a major 7 chord is built from the root, the major third, the fifth and the major 7. A minor chord is built from the root, the minor third, the fifth and the minor 7, and the dominant chord, which is the root of a blues, is root, major third, fifth and minor 7th, so it's a mixture of the two. And what I'm doing is I'm descending chromatically from the 5th to the sharp 4 to the 4, and then I'm hitting the minor third and sliding that up to the major third. So I've gone bum 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 bum. And the reason I call this flirting with the thirds is because we're sort of dancing around that major third, which forms part of the chord. So we're playing all the notes around it before we hit that, and then we finally lurch into it, is the way my ears think of it. And also, if you think about the harmonic direction that this lick's going, we're going down and further down and then up, so bum 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 bum, and as we go up to that third, that's when it resolves, and it resolves on the beat as well. So this is something that you can mess around with in your playing when you're doing your licks. And basically, whenever you're playing over a blues or just an A7 vamp, if you're playing basic minor pentatonic, every time you hit a minor third, just try sliding it up 1 fret. So you could go so I'm in all fourths tuning if that looks a bit weird to you, but every time I hit a third, apart from early on there, I was using it as a passing tone to get to that major third, so every time I hit a minor third, sorry. So the whole lick that I'm playing quickly again is one more time, and it's got two instances of this flirting with the third concept. So we start off and we're on the G string. All this is on the low 4th string, so you can be in standard for this, and we're playing 9, 8, 7, which is the 5th to the sharp 4 to the 4, we're talking intervallically now. We're going to hit the 5th fret on the G, which is the minor third relative to the A, then slide it up 1 fret to the 6th. Then we're going to play on the D string, the 7th to the 5th, which is the root to the minor 7, and then we're going to hit the 7th fret on the A, 5th, which is the intervallically, so 7th fret, 5th fret, then 3rd fret, sliding up to the 4, which is that flirting situation again, minor 3rd to the major 3rd. And then we're going to hit the root on the A, note on the 5th fret of the E, and then 7th fret on the D. So quickly, I'm just going to talk you through, I'm just going to be talking fret-wise now. It's 9, 8, 7, 5, 6, and then onto the next string down, 7, 5, next string down, 7, 5, 3, slide up to the 4, then 5th fret on the lower E, and 7th fret on the D. And now I'm going to talk to you up through it intervallically, so you can maybe get more of an understanding of where this is happening. So we've got the 5, the sharp 4 or flat 5, 4, and then the 3rd sliding up to the major 3rd, so that's minor 3rd, up to the major 3rd. And then we're going to hit the root, minor 7, 5th, 4th, minor 3rd, up to the major 3rd. Then we're going to hit the root twice in 2 different octaves. So here the whole thing is again, here it is again, slowly. So because I'm in all fourths tuning, this is just a little aside at the end of the lesson, I can then play this and just move it around to coincide with the chord progression. So I could go... and so on, but basically that concept will work over any dominant 7 chord. And if you, the reason I broke it down so much in this lesson, I know obviously this isn't such a quick lick, but the reason I go over it so much is that it's that concept of hitting the minor 3rd and sliding up to the major over a dominant chord that gives that, well, my ears, that bluesy, jazzy sound that I'm after. So take a look at that in your playing if you haven't looked at this already. It might open some new doors for you. Like I mentioned last time, I've got a new website, www.tomsmusiclessons.co.uk, information about private lessons with me online and in person there. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.